In 2023, more than 150,000 Floridians relocated to Texas, making Florida the fourth largest source of new residents for the Lone Star State. Why are so many Floridians increasingly choosing Texas as their new home? Let's explore some of the reasons why Floridians are leaving the Sunshine State and moving to Texas. 9. The crisis of homelessness in Florida. A 2022 report by the National Alliance to End Homelessness found that Florida has the fourth highest number of people experiencing homelessness on a single night, with over 207,200 individuals. This high number can be attributed to several factors. Firstly, Florida's booming tourist industry creates a seasonal housing market. Affordable housing becomes scarce during peak tourist seasons, forcing low-income residents out of their homes. Secondly, Florida has a high cost of living, with rising housing costs pushing minimum wage earners towards homelessness. Texas, on the other hand, has a lower rate of homelessness compared to Florida. According to the same report, Texas has around 103,200 homeless individuals on any given night. This might be surprising considering Texas's larger population. There are a few reasons for this disparity. Texas has a robust job market, particularly in the energy sector, which provides opportunities for low-skilled workers. Another factor is housing affordability. Texas has seen a slower rise in housing costs, offering more breathing room for low-income residents. 8. Hurricane risk in Florida. Florida reigns supreme in hurricane vulnerability. Since 1851, it has been struck by a staggering 125 hurricanes, nearly double the 66 faced by Texas. This disparity can be attributed to geography. Florida's peninsula juts out into the warm waters of the Atlantic Ocean, the prime breeding ground for hurricanes. Conversely, Texas has a shorter coastline on the Gulf of Mexico, which sees fewer storms overall. The intensity of hurricanes also differs. Florida has endured 40 major hurricanes, Category 3 or higher, compared to Texas's 20. The warmer waters off Florida provide more fuel for storms to intensify. Additionally, the state's flat topography allows storm surge to penetrate further inland, magnifying the destructive potential. Let's consider a specific example. Hurricane Ida in 2021. While it made landfall in Louisiana, it significantly impacted both Florida and Texas. In Florida, Ida slammed into the Panhandle as a Category 1 storm, causing power outages and flooding. Conversely, Texas saw minimal effects, primarily heavy rainfall. This exemplifies the difference in risk. Florida faces a higher chance of a direct hit, potentially from a stronger storm, while Texas experiences more peripheral impacts. Hurricane Andrew, which devastated Florida in 1992, caused an estimated $65 billion in damage and remains the costliest hurricane in U.S. history, not including inflation. 7. Inflation in Florida. Florida emerges as the state with the higher inflation rate. In a recent report, Florida held the dubious distinction of having the fifth highest inflation rate in the nation, with prices rising nearly 7% compared to the previous year. Texas, on the other hand, sits slightly lower, with inflation hovering around the 3.1% mark. Interestingly, some of the biggest inflation problems are in metropolitan areas of Florida. A study by WalletHub identified the Miami-Fort Lauderdale area as the top city grappling with inflation. In this metropolitan region, inflation soared above 9%, significantly higher than the national average. 6. Wild at heart. While both Florida and Texas boast diverse ecosystems and abundant wildlife, the experiences of encountering these creatures in your backyard differ greatly. Florida's crown jewel is arguably the alligator. These prehistoric predators lurk in freshwater marshes and sometimes even canals, transforming a casual stroll into an adrenaline rush. Encounters with the American flamingo, with their vibrant pink plumage, are another Florida specialty. Watching them feed in shallow waters is a sight to behold. Texas, on the other hand, is the land of the majestic white-tailed deer. Spotting these graceful creatures grazing in fields or bounding across rural roads is a common occurrence. Keep your eyes peeled for the ever-watchful roadrunner. the state bird known for its blazing speed and cartoonish appearance. Imagine a family living near a freshwater canal in Florida. Their backyard might be visited by curious raccoons or playful otters. But the ever-present possibility of an alligator encounter necessitates vigilance, especially with young children. In Texas, a suburban family living near hill country might encounter a majestic white-tailed deer grazing in their yard, or hear the haunting call of a coyote at night. While rattlesnakes pose a danger, their presence is less ubiquitous compared to Florida's alligators. 5. High crime rates. According to the FBI's Uniform Crime Reporting Data 2023, Florida boasts a higher violent crime rate than Texas. For instance, in 2022, Florida reported a violent crime rate of 631.9 per 100,000 residents, while Texas's stood at 405.1. Texas also boasts a lower property crime rate than Florida. In 2022, Texas had a property crime rate of 2,822.3 per 100,000 residents, compared to Florida's 4,134.8 per 100,000 residents. This suggests that residents in Florida might be more susceptible to property crimes like theft. 4. Tourist boom or local woe. Florida and Texas, two titans of the American South, beckon travelers with promises of sunshine adventure and wide open spaces. Florida's tourism industry is a juggernaut. Theme parks, world-famous beaches, and a constant summer climate draw millions each year. But it also strains local infrastructure. Housing prices skyrocket, pushing out long-term residents. Traffic congestion becomes a nightmare, turning commutes into an ordeal. The very things that attract tourists' beaches, natural beauty, become choked with humanity, diminishing the local experience. Texas, on the other hand, offers a different kind of tourist experience, while it boasts stunning natural attractions like Hill Country and Big Bend National Park. Its charm lies more in its vastness. Tourists come for the iconic rodeos, the vibrant music scene, and the chance to experience the Lone Star State spirit. The impact on Texas locals is less pronounced. Tourism tends to be more spread out, with destinations like Austin and San Antonio absorbing the bulk of the influx. This allows smaller towns to retain their character. Additionally, Texas's booming economy ensures a higher standard of living, mitigating some of the housing woes plaguing Florida. 3. High cost of living. Texas boasts a reputation for affordability. It has no state income tax, a significant advantage for wage earners. Additionally, housing costs in Texas are generally lower than in Florida. The median home price in Texas sits comfortably below the national average, while Florida boasts a higher price tag. Florida's median home price sits higher than the national average. This disparity extends to rentals as well. Take Miami, a bustling Florida metropolis, where a one-bedroom apartment averages over $2,200 per month. In contrast, Austin, the capital of Texas with a booming tech scene, offers similar accommodations for roughly $1,500. For example, Austin, a city experiencing a tech boom, and Miami, a perennial tourist destination, while both offer exciting cultural scenes. Austin's median home price falls around $420,000, while Miami's rockets past $500,000. Similarly, a one-bedroom apartment in Austin rents for roughly $1,350 monthly, compared to Miami's steeper $1,700 price tag. Beyond housing, everyday expenses paint a similar picture. Groceries tend to be slightly cheaper in Texas, while utilities hover around the national average in both states. Transportation costs also favor Texas, thanks to its lower gas prices. This seemingly small difference adds up over time, especially for those who commute regularly. A young professional couple with a combined income of $80,000 might find themselves struggling to afford a decent home and maintain a comfortable lifestyle in Miami. The high cost of living would eat up a significant portion of their income. Conversely, the same couple could potentially enjoy a more spacious home and a higher standard of living in a city like Austin, thanks to the lower overall cost of living. 2. Poverty. Florida, with a poverty rate of 17.4%, However, its high cost of living, particularly housing, creates a squeeze on low-income earners. The state's large elderly population also faces challenges, with many retirees living on fixed incomes that struggle to keep pace with rising expenses. Additionally, Florida's tourism industry, while a significant economic driver, provides a large number of low-wage service jobs that offer limited upward mobility. Texas's poverty rate is slightly lower than Florida's. However, its poverty has a different character. One key difference between the two states is their social safety nets. Florida has a lower minimum wage than the national average, and limited access to public assistance programs. This can make it harder for low-income families to make ends meet. Texas, on the other hand, has a slightly higher minimum wage but also restricts access to social programs. 1. Traffic congestion. Florida's traffic woes are concentrated in its metropolitan areas, particularly the South Florida megalopolis encompassing Miami, Fort Lauderdale, and West Palm Beach. This densely populated region, a magnet for tourists and retirees, suffers from a combination of factors: limited public transportation options, an influx of new residents, and a reliance on car-centric infrastructure. Studies consistently rank Miami among the top 10 most congested cities in the U.S., with drivers losing upwards of 120 hours a year stuck in traffic. Texas, on the other hand, presents a more dispersed picture, while major cities like Houston and Dallas experience rush-hour headaches. The sheer size of the state distributes traffic more evenly. Additionally, Texas boasts a more robust highway system, catering to long-distance commutes and freight transportation. This doesn't eliminate congestion entirely, but it prevents the kind of concentrated gridlock seen in South Florida.